everybody starts off with 10,000 hex points. I only say hex in the program. You start off with 10,000 sacrifice points. And each sacrifice point equals a pulse PLS, which is the native token. So as more people sacrifice, the supply goes up. Now, if you sacrifice day 1 to 3, and it's probably going to be day 1 to 5, then maybe even day 1 to 7, you're going to get the same time value, which is 10,000 pulse, or 10,000, sorry, you're not getting pulse, you're getting sacrifice points. 10,000 sacrifice points per USD value of sacrifice. And when you measure it, when it happens on a 30-minute TWAP or 1-minute TWAP, any of those industry standards is fine, if they're convenient. If they're not, to make it as close as you can. As close as is convenient. And then, now, if you get in any of those days, either it's 1, but it's 3, 5, 7, you're going to get the same time value ratio, rate. Now, what happens after those days are up? It goes up 5% every day. So day 4, the rate's 5% higher. Day 5, or next day, 5% higher than the last day. And so it curves up a little bit. There's not that many days, so it doesn't curve up that hard. But the end of the curve is 2x higher. Because there's 14 days after the first few days you can get in at the same time value. Now what does that do? It rewards people to get in earlier. Now how much? In that first part, nothing. Everybody gets the same deal. But at the end, a lot more. The guy that's on the last day is going to be getting half as much as the guy that got on the first day. Now what else does this system do? This point system. It rewards the guy that gives the most. Gives him the best deal. How much better deal? He can get a 2.5x bonus. So his very tippity top coin at the very tippity top, right? Here's all the different people that put in. Here's all the little guys. Then here's the bigger guys, and then here's the whale dude. There's usually a power law distribution. There's usually a giant whale dude that just puts in more than everybody else. We've seen this everywhere. If you look at the Gini coefficients for distribution of any cryptocurrency, the whales have a lot in all of them, period. And that's how capitalism usually works too. That's how money usually works in the real world. The 1% of people have half of everything. That's how it works. One guy controls whether he nukes another country or not. One guy controls the management fund. One guy, has the keys to the vault of the bank. You name it. It's a lot of times it's a whale that has power, right? A little bit different. There's a difference between control and ownership, right? So they don't have control over the network. The nodes and the miners do, or the validators and proof of stake system. But, having and owning the thing, well, that's something that is usually power law distribution in almost everything. So, that guy, the analogy I made, I'm just going to make it back to you here, instead of trying to make a new one on the fly. Imagine that after everybody's sacrifices come in, from all the different chains at all the different times, and you're organized by address. So if you're trying to combine across MetaMask wallet addresses, it ain't going to work. You want combined, they all got to be the same address. So you can give the same address to the Sense Foundation. You can, sacrifice your ERC20s that are supported, USDC, USDT, Uni, Hex. We'll see about other ones. WBTC. Those will be supported. So now, that guy's going to get the best deal. How do you know he's going to get the best deal? So you take everybody's sacrifices across all the chains, and they got different rates because they got it at different times. Fine. Combine them all, and you get a list. And there's your addresses. And there's who the biggest guy is. Okay, now biggest guy. All of your points, they're going to grow legs, and they're going to march in front of an auditorium. They're going to line up. And then the next guy, second biggest points guy. His points are all going to grow legs, and they're going to line up behind the other guy's points. And then they're going to march, and that's going to go all the way until everybody's lined up, and they're all going to march into this amphitheater, and they're going to go and fill up the first row, and then the second row, and then the third row, and you're going to have in the amphitheater, in the seats facing the stage, the guy that was the biggest is in the front row. The second guy's points are in the next row. It goes all the way back until everyone's in. Then an attendant comes out with cards, and he walks to the very front corner of the theater, and he says, "Hey, congratulations, here's your 2.5x bonus card." And he hands the points. The little dude's got a shirt with the address on it. All his little buddies have the same address on their shirt sitting next to him, because they're all points from the same guy, same address. They hand him that 2.5x card. What's the next guy get for a card? So the attendant walks to the next guy, hands him a card. It's a little bit less bonus, a little tiny bit less bonus. And then the next card is a little tiny bit less, and the next card is a little tiny bit less. And the difference between every card is the same. It's the same difference. It's linear. And that guy hands out cards all the way down the rows until he's at the very smallest sacrifice address. And his points get the very smallest bonus, which is the very, very last guy gets a 1x, which basically is nothing. But everybody else, and even if the last guy had more than a single point, which is very likely, then even his gets some bonus because some of his points will receive cards with a bonus higher than 1x. And so the cards go from 1x to 2.5x, ordered in the auditorium by the size of the sacrificer. Now, what does that mean in practice? What it means in practice is that there's a war to be the biggest points guy. Because your guys will sit in the best part of the theater, and they'll get the best bonuses, and the larger that sacrifice is, the more of the best bonus it takes up, and it shoves everyone else back to the back of the theater where the bonuses are smaller. And so you get this war for people wanting to be a larger sacrificer nearly the whole way through the sacrifice set. So the last 3 days, you don't have that war function. It's so you get up to 2.5x max for the entire everything until the last 3 days. And in the last 3 days, the max is just 1.25x. That's flat. So if you're a giant whale and you come on the last day, you're not getting anywhere near the bonus you would have got earlier. So it's really, really amazing game mechanic. It's similar to a linear bonding curve. However, it is ranked by volume, which I've never seen before. I may have invented it. And it's really awesome. And I'll tell you, the way that the curve was chosen, a lot of scammy things, they choose a really, really giant curve. If you go to a store and buy a television, if the manufacturer, the retailer you're buying it from, they get it for about half of what they're selling it for. Now margins are probably lower. I used to sell electronics. I had my own electronics store. And so, back then we'd make 40% markup on the products that we got people in the door with, the popular products that didn't have much margin but good brand names. And then we'd shift them into better products with higher margins. They'd win, we'd win, everyone would win. And we could make 100% markup on those. So back when I was doing retail in 2001 to 2000, maybe 2000, 2001, 40% markup to 100% markup, which equals, 50% margin. So if you mark it up 100%, well, then half is cost and half is the money you get to keep or start paying other bills with. So that kind of ratio, that like manufacturer, wholesale, retail kind of ratio of profit split, it just seems kind of fair to me. So, this giant whale, he's going to get a much bigger bonus, but it's not a 100x bonus. It's a 2.5x. Now there might be some advanced calculus and doing derivatives to try and figure out, by shoving people further back and taking more area out of the theater, what is equivalent bonuses compared to other people. I don't feel like doing calculus on it. I think it's an amazing system. I think it's going to work great. If you're a calculus guy, have fun doing the derivations. So, actually, I think we would call them integral, but I haven't taken calculus in a long time. So the sacrifice phase is going to be amazing. Now, disclaimers. You must have no expectation of work from others, particularly no expectation of profit from the work of others. You're making a political statement. You're losing your coins. You're sacrificing your coins. You're enduring pain to make a political statement. The world could notice that you did that, and maybe they might like to reward you for doing that. Maybe they might like to say, hey, you know what? Here's some free coins. So Bitcoin was given for free to people that double-clicked in EXE. XRP was given for free to Bitcoiners. XLM was given for free to Bitcoiners. Hex was given for free to Bitcoiners. Bitcoin Cash was given for free to Bitcoiners. Uni tokens were given to people that used Uniswap. GRT tokens were given to people that used Gitcoin. GTC, I can't remember. 1-inch tokens were given to people that used 1-inch. What else? So this idea of giving free tokens to people that have a particular behavioral profile or political belief, I think is well established. And I think if you're going to have to, bootstrap a new community and someone has to get the coins, well, why not the people that believe the most in the same things that you do? So I think that I think the sacrifice set will make a great set of people and addresses that you might want to donate or create free things for. So in this case, the free thing is Pulsechain. So why is it awesome to create a free token to hand out to people for free? Because in some countries they tax you on what you receive. And if what you receive has a value, depending on where you live, it might be a taxable event. So it's very nice to have a new, amazing thing that is worth nothing when you receive it. Very cool. Very good idea. What else? Like Bitcoin, right? Satoshi's got a lot of coins. They're unrealized capital gains, unless he sold them and didn't tell anybody about it, What else? There's going to be a 1% Genesis address that can mint 1% of the Pulse supply, and you will receive no benefit from it, and it can waste the coins in any way it wishes. Waste them. No benefit. Notice the theme here. You must have no expectation of profit from the work of others. It's very, very, very important. It is the core principle by which this endeavor operates. If you're going to donate to the Sense Foundation for the 75% credit and possibly tax write-off, you need to email them at airdrop at sens.org. That's airdrop at sens.org. What else? People are complaining the watches stopped. No worries, mates. Let's crank up those springs. There you go. Spinny, spin, spin, $1 million of watches. They don't tell time that good, but hey, I look cool. Do I though? It does kind of look cool. Yeah. What else? So we've covered what coins are supported. We haven't covered all the ERC20s, but I told you a bunch of the big ones. Look, if you, by the way, if the chain that you were hoping would be supported isn't there, it ain't going to be there. We're out of time, baby. It's go time. So go on Changelly. If you go to hex.com/trading, there's a Changelly link. You could try coinswitch.co. You could try Shapeshift. You could try. I hate Binance. I know people that cannot get their money off of it, but I guess if you want to roll the dice and hope that they don't steal your money, you could try Binance, but I wouldn't. I regret even mentioning it, so don't go there. Unless you really have to. I mean, look, most people probably don't get their money stolen, but some people do. It's not great. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's disgusting. You send as many hostage videos and selfies and beg as hard as you want, they just keep the money. It's insane. What else? Other places. There's some Thorchain thing, which I've never tried, but it has a little bit of liquidity if you're not doing giant numbers. Maybe Thorchain could get you out of trustlessly without counterparty risk. One thing into another thing. We've got Matcha.xyz, which they don't have Hex on their search bar properly. They broke it because they're not as good at what they do as